from Elderberry Creek Farms. This week we're going to be talking about ginger poultices. This is week 3 on poultices. So ginger, well first I should say I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional. You should not take medical advice from me, but I'd like to share with you what our family does and what we do for joint pain. So ginger is great for inflammation of the joints. We all know that ginger is great for using internally, like ginger tea for joint pain. You can also use it for nausea, which is really great. But we've used ginger successfully for menstrual cramps. We've used it for shoulder pain, back pain. I had back surgery when I was a teenager for severe scoliosis, and I have a lot of hardware in my back. And because of that hardware over the years, it has caused damage above and below of the rods on my spine. So I have bulging discs and I have compression fractures. And it was a life-saving surgery. And so it was just something that had to be done in order for me to live. Otherwise my spine would have crushed my lungs. And so now I'm just dealing with the aftermath of all the inflammation in my back from this life-saving surgery. So I'm going to show you today how to do a ginger poultice. You can use this for gout, you can use it for joint pain like I said, your wrists, your elbows, your knees, shoulders, anything you want. So come on in close and I'll show you how to do this. So you're going to need one of two things. You're either going to need plastic wrap, or if you hate plastic and you're a no plastic house, then you can go to the thrift store, you can buy an old man's broken down, tore down wool suit, throw it in your washing machine and felt it. I'm sure there's some great videos out there on how to felt wool. And then you can cut up that old suit into different sizes for your poultice. Now, why would you do that? Poultices, as they get warmed up and heated up on the body, they tend to get really juicy. That's how the potato poultice works and the ginger poultice. And then you're going to need a piece of fabric. We use old sheets from the thrift store, or we also use old sheets at our house that are starting to get threadbare if they get holes or anything like that. If you don't have the fabric, then you can use a paper towel, which paper towels have chemicals and they can leach and stuff like that. So I suggest that I prefer to use the sheets, even though this is a colored sheet. You can also use linen. Linen has a lot of healing properties, and that's something that you can reuse. You could even serge the edges or sew the edges, kind of like cloth napkins, and reuse these over and over and over again. You don't have to toss these, or you can even throw them in your compost pile if you want. You're going to need a grater and some fresh ginger. And then you're just going to grate the ginger. And depending on how big of an area you need to cover is really going to depend on how big your poultice is. If you've got gout in your pinky toe, then you're going to have this cute little baby ginger poultice on your toe. If you've got a big area like I do on my back, then you're going to want to make it larger for your back. If you're using it for your shoulder, then just judge by how large of an area you're going to need for your shoulder. The other thing with the ginger is if you have inflammation, it will heat up really, really, really hot sometimes. I've put it on my back and my back's hurting just a little bit and it'll just warm up a little bit. When I've been in a lot of pain to where I can barely walk, the poultice will get so hot, I feel like it's going to spontaneously combust. It seriously gets that hot, but ginger will never burn the skin. I do have one daughter that did a ginger poultice, and it didn't burn her skin, but she has super, super sensitive skin. And after she left the poultice on for about 8 hours, and after that, the area was just a little tender to touch. It wasn't burnt, it was just kind of tender when she showered or when her clothes were rubbing up against that area. So that's just something to keep in mind if you have extremely sensitive skin like she does, but we've never had any problems with it actually burning anybody, even though it gets hot. My husband had a shoulder or upper arm injury. I did ginger for a couple of days and it worked really well. And then one day the ginger just quit working. So then I said, you know what? I said, maybe this isn't a joint issue with your shoulder. Maybe this is a soft tissue inflammatory issue. So let's go ahead and try the potato poultice. So he switched over to the potato poultice that day. And it actually, for him, it heated up. And then the pain was going away again. And then after that, he was alternating the ginger and the potato poultices. So I'm just spreading this out, not super thick. If it's too thick, then it's going to get really juicy and it's going to kind of make a mess. One day I did it so thick I actually had ginger juice running down my back, and I soaked the back of my shirt because it was just too thick. So you're just going to fold it over like a cute little package, back and forth, and then you flip it over so that the thin side of the fabric, as you can see, it's already wet. And then I do about 1 inch to 2 inches of plastic, or if you've got the wool, which I'm hoping the next time I hit a thrift store, I'll be able to pick up an old wool suit. Now, if you're putting this on, say, your wrist or your knee, you can use something that we use, and it is called self-adhesive bandages. And it's a stretchy stuff. We buy it by the 24 pack. My husband spends about $25 for the 24 pack. I think he either gets it on Amazon or eBay, somewhere like that. There's lots of different brands. They come in multiple different colors, so if you've got kids, you can have your kids pick different colors. They have different widths, you can do that. So like if you had your little gout toe, you could use this on your toe if you had a joint issue on your toe. Or you could use this and wrap this around your knee, and it just self-sticks. It's really, really great stuff. And it just comes back over, and then it'll just stick to itself. Now, I'm going to be putting this on a back. We were using this Coban, is what my husband calls it, and you can wrap this around a person's body over and over again, but you'll end up using a whole roll. And at about $1 a roll, if you go to the CVS or Walgreens or even Walmart, you'll spend anywhere from $3 to $6 per roll for this stuff. So it's definitely worth ordering online if you've got a family or if you have kids and you're going to be using this often. We even use this Coban stuff for like on the knees where Band-Aids don't work well for little kids. So what we did was my husband found some brace sort of things on Amazon that he bought for about $15, and that's what we've been using to hold the poultices on. Before, I was just using medical tape and taping it around the edge and then having somebody help me wrap with the Coban multiple times. Then the Coban starts to roll and it's kind of awkward and you can't do it yourself. So I'm going to show you today with an assistant of how you can find a better way to apply this to your back. So this is the little brace. It's supposed to be for back support. It's got Velcro that my husband bought. I'm just going to show you really quickly how you can easily put one of these on and how it would hold a poultice. You just wrap it around and it Velcros. And then there's little side supports that you can go tighter and tighter. And then you can put your poultice on back behind here. So if I bent over, I could probably get the poultice on by myself in the bathroom. And of course, you know, you would put this all underneath your clothes. You wouldn't put your poultice on top of your clothes. But if you needed to, you could try to place the poultice on your back, bending over, and then wrapping everything on, and then put your clothes over this. So let's say the back pain is right here. And if you were helping somebody, you would put the poultice on, and then she can put the back brace on herself or himself. The one thing I have found is that it can be a little bit tricky to put a poultice up in the shoulder area. Go ahead and squeeze on, and then I'll slip my hand out. Now, she would do this underneath her shirt. You can put the poultice on wherever you need. The only place I find really, really difficult to do a poultice and to strap it on is up in the shoulder area or maybe in the hip area. But you can use medical tape and tape things on, and then use an ace bandage and get really, really creative. Some of the places are a little bit hard, but most people have back pain, and most people have lower back pain, and you could put the poultice down lower. And you can put this on in the evening and wear it all night long, and then get up in the morning. So that's about it, I think. But you can also use this. Thanks, assistant. So as far as the Ginger Poultice, we've used it, like I said, on joint inflammation. We've used it on menstrual cramps. We had one person in the house where the Ginger Poultice worked really, really great for cramps. And then another person who the potato poultice worked really great for cramps. So each person just has to kind of decide what works best for their body. You've just got to really learn how to read your body and decide, is this making me feel better? Do I feel better? Do I feel worse? If you put the poultice on and it gets really, really hot and it starts to cause anxiety, then that's not a good thing. Then don't use it. If it starts to hurt, if the pain and the inflammation feels worse, then stop using it. Don't keep using it. So you just have to use common sense and just really pay attention to how your body works. I think a lot of things in natural healing is just learning to be in tune and figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. If you start taking a supplement and you start feeling bad and then you realize your hair's falling out, then it's not the supplement for you. Then you've got to stop taking it. Then it's probably something in that. And it's the same with the poultices. Just read your body, figure out what works, and we'll see you next week at Elderberry Creek Farms. I have my baggie, and this is going to be used on an adult. About 2 to 3 tablespoons of diced or chopped onions. And I'm going to put this on my feet. Now I know, crazy, so get in bed, get all your supplies ready, have your baggie ready, have your socks ready, and then you're going to sleep all night long with this on each foot. So you're going to just put your foot in the baggie.